G'day ladies and gents, welcome to MagzTV's vlog for the end of February, as well as our War Thunder patch 1.47 overview video. Now patch 1.47 is released. So first things first, just a couple of quick updates. Thank you everybody who has subscribed. We've passed 15,000. In fact, by the time you watch this video, we may almost be at 16,000 subscribers. So thank you again everyone. You blow me away. Every time I see subscribers pop up in my email, I'm amazed that so many of you are joining up. I'm glad you love the content, and I hope you continue to enjoy it in the future. So the next thing, I know a lot of people have been asking about this, my Mark Simulation custom event, which the amount of interest in that has absolutely blown me away. I'm ecstatic that so many people are interested in helping with the testing and helping me get all my data together so I can petition this to Gaijin. Now, I had some unfortunate events happen at the start of the week that prevented me from being able to run these tests. Now with the release of patch 1.47, this week is pretty much shattered. I'm not going to be able to start the test until the first week of March. However, the testing schedule that I posted will remain the same, just all dates will be transferred through to that week. Now I do need to clarify the first day of testing. Now it's marked as a Patreon event, it is not a Patreon only event. What it is Patreons get first right of refusal. So when that event goes up, if my Patreons wish to partake in the event, they will get first option for slots. If there are any slots remaining, or any Patreons do not wish to attend the battle, those slots will be filled by subscribers at random. I'm trying to organise for this testing to be covered in a live stream, so hopefully what I'll be able to set up is everybody will jump into a live stream, either Squires or Grievuses, most likely Grievuses for the first test. We'll get the patrons in for the first round of testing, and then the holes will be filled out of subscribers that join the Twitch streaming channel. And that I think will be the easiest way to do it. Those who don't get into it will at least be able to watch the events, get some ideas, perhaps do a little bit of practice themselves on what they're seeing. Round 2 and 3 will be subscribers at randomly selected depending on which tests that I'm running. The second round of testing is going to be, I'm going to be doing some realistic battle maps in team versus team setups. I'm going to also try and test a few historical battles. The third round of testing, I'm actually going to see how Mark Simulation operates in a realistic ground forces mixed battle environment and see whether or not I can make that work. So, moving on, patch 1.47 is now out. What are my opinions of it? And God, I've been getting asked this a lot. And honestly, it's a bit of a mixed bag. After doing my 1.47 early access dev server video, I was really confident in this patch. I thought it looked very promising, but there were a few things that weren't mentioned at the time. First, we'll go over a couple of things I've noticed. Good things. Maps like Norway, now both teams have air spawn, so there's no longer a definitive advantage to the Allied side. Bad thing. Bug I noticed on my first fly out on the Norway map in the Focke-Wulf 198-1. I'm pretty sure combat flaps shouldn't be tearing off aircraft at 320 km an hour. In fact, the battle before this one, Grievous in his 190 F2 had his combat flap torn off at 220 km an hour while performing a hammerhead. So what we have here now is no longer just a flap warning issue where you'll get a retract flaps strobing on your screen regardless of what speed you deploy the combat flaps at. Now they will actually tear off the aircraft as well, meaning that, well, the majority of aircraft cannot use combat flaps anymore. They may as well not have the option enabled. The only plus side to this is that it doesn't appear to be isolated to German aircraft, although those are the only aircraft I've experienced it on yet. I've had reports on British, American and Russian aircraft all suffering exactly the same issues, so it seems to be universal across the board. Hopefully it'll be fixed in the future. The new high altitude contrails are now also included in, and they look fantastic. You get a nice high altitude turn battle going on, and the sky really does look like a scene out of the short animated video Paths of Hate. It's quite impressive work. In fact, I'm pretty impressed with all of the new effects in game. The new fire effects look excellent. The new particle effects on ground and air forces look great. The driving across terrain and your tank slowly getting dirty, getting mud in its tracks, looks excellent as well. Unfortunately, I'm yet to see any examples of the actual terrain deformation that was marked. The tanks don't seem to sink in. I'm yet to find any mud holes or anything that was described in the devlog, so I'm not sure if I just haven't encountered the spots for it, or whether or not it's just not fully implemented yet. Unfortunately, Ground Forces is still full of bullshit shots that do nothing but piss me off most of the time. I'm sorry, Gaijin, you can claim historical accuracy in tanks all you want, and so can your defenders, but an 88mm shell would not ricochet off a tank track. It would go through the track and shatter the suspension. It would not ricochet off, penetrate the side armour, and blow the tank to pieces. Much the same as inner armour spalling caused by a high explosive shot to the front of a King Tiger will not penetrate the 1.2 tonne cast iron and steel frontal mount transmission. Please cut the bullshit and model your internal components on vehicles correctly. Correct modelling of tank treads, armour and internal components is what actually matters to gameplay after all, not dirt on the outside of the tank. So, for the most part, the effects for the game are pretty much accurate, and the planes are well modelled, the flight models operate well, the new tanks are modelled well, except for the same bullshit armour issues and things like you just saw that have been in existence since Ground Forces come in and still haven't been fixed to this day. So, where is my problem with patch 1.47? Because the actual from the gameplay side, it's not bad. Where I do have a major issue, however, is in the new shop. Now, when I did my 1.47 video, at the time there were no X2s on the test server, but I assumed that was a test server thing. At the time, it hadn't been announced that X2s were being completely removed. That's crap for starters. But it may have been an okay thing, providing that the shop system and the reward system gave, adequate compensation. Now, your X2s that you got on each nation every day, so you got 5, 1 for each nation, is basically a plus 100% RP reward. That is what the X2 is. What you get plus an additional 100% on top, times 2. And you got those every day, so you had 5, 1 for each nation. What does the shop compensate you with? Well, let's have a look here. This is my inventory at the moment. I'm going to show you this, but this is basically all I've achieved so far. Now, when I go through to my boosters, that's not much. Now, this 10% one here, 10% to all units, I got out of my first box. 10%. That's a 0.1% bonus. Now, that goes for one mission, and it goes to every single player. Now, I did get these other ones here, but let me show you how I got them. Now, this is my items log. Now, for testing purposes, I actually purchased 5,000 gold and proceeded to buy the 300 gold reward boxes over and over and over again until I ran out of gold to see exactly what I got out of them. And as you can see, 10% booster to all allies for credits, 2 300 gold, so effectively 2 rerolls, 1 day of premium account, another 300 gold, another 10,000 credits, so on and so forth, up until I got a 15% booster, so that's a 0.15% boost to RP, another 100,000 credits here, a couple more rerolls, another day, then I got a 75% credit increase booster, another reroll, another 100,000 credits, and so on and so forth, until I got 300,000 credits in the final thing. That's what I paid for 5,000 gold. That's what you get out of these boxes. No premium tank, for starters, multiple rerolls, and still no management of actually getting that premium tank. And this is after 20 or so rerolls, and the only RP booster I got is a plus 15% that lasts for 10 battles or 1 day. Now, that plus 15% booster works out to be, 150%, or an X 1.5 over 10 battles, for one nation of my choice after 20 crates opened. And that's what we've traded what is effectively a 500% bonus to RP over 5 nations for. This is just not enough compensation. Now, this, well, it gets worse. It really does. If we get out of the Battle Trophies boxes and we go straight over to the boosters in the shop, you'll see the biggest RP boost you can buy is a 75% over 10 battles. Now, this does equate to a larger than... in the long run, more than your X2 that you would get for one individual nation. It's basically a 0.75% boost on RP, so not quite double, well, not quite the X2 we used to get, but you get it for 10 battles in a row. That's the biggest booster you can buy, and that's 500 gold to get access to that. Yeah, that's just... what? 500 gold every time you basically want to get... it's worth, over the long run, a little bit more than your X5 across 5 nations, or your X2s across 5 nations, wherever worth, but you only get them on one nation, and you only get it for 10 rounds, for 500 gold. It's probably also worth considering at this point that the 5,000 gold I spent on testing if I'd bought an extra 1,000 gold, I could have just bought the Tiger out of that the M26 pattern Tiger that comes in those boxes for 6,000 gold. 1,000 gold more, never re-rolled, and I could have just bought the premium and been done with it. So, back to the shop and specifically my inventory. Now, you'll notice I never mentioned the Silver Lion rewards here. Now, 75% Silver Lion reward. This is great. You get lots of gold and lots of Silver Lions and stuff to buy tanks and planes. And here's the thing, this game shits Silver Lions and pisses them all over you afterwards. The first 2 battles I flew in this, in this patch, I was flying Era 2 fighters to grind out the Focke-Wulf Condor. And I made 100,000 credits in 2 matches. And it was easy. It was not the slightest challenge at all. I've made probably 500,000 credits in my first night, and not counting the 500,000 that I got from opening those boxes. These credit boosters are effectively worthless. There's no value to them at all, because the game never shafts you for money. Ever. You can make money hand over fist without having any boosters at all. And we've never needed them in the past. Ever. So they've got these boosters in, and these are basically the booby prizes. Now, the other thing you get is these victory wages. Now, I haven't spoken about those because, honestly, I can't find any information on how exactly they bloody work. It looks like you complete an objective and you get a bunch of credits, which is, well, again, credits are worthless in this game, so that makes these worthless straight away. What I can't work out being a wager is, am I going to gamble my credits against potentially winning credits? I don't understand these, because if that's the case, these are even more bullshit, because you're wagering your earnings in a match, or your potential savings overall, on the off chance you'll be able to complete the objectives in order to get more. And some of these, well, okay, for arcade players this isn't going to be too much of an issue, but where's a good example? Here we go. Max Stage 10. Battle wager. Destroy 10 enemy units. The above conditions must be fulfilled within a single battle. This can only be completed in arcade, because you're not going to get a 10 kill, or reliably be able to get a 10 kill match in realistic or sim. You get one of these out of the box and you be a player that doesn't enjoy arcade or just doesn't actively play arcade all that often. This is worthless. I got 2 of these bloody things. Now, I play arcade every now and again, so if it turns out that it's not a gamble, I will probably use them and see whether or not I can make some money out of them and give you a report on exactly how effective they were. But there are players out there that are exclusively RB or Sim that are going to get these out of the boxes, and they're just going to get pissed off because they're never going to use them, and they won't want to play arcade in order to use them. The Silver Lion reward bonuses are absolutely crap, and that was 5 of the 7 items that I've managed to get over the 20 or so boxes that I opened. I only got 2 RP rewards. One of them was a one-shot 10% bonus to me and everybody on my team for 1 battle, which is, wow, great. Wow, 10%. Yeah, I could maybe shoot a AAA gun and actually earn more than that in that battle. And, well, why the idea of rewarding your team as well, it's not a new thing for free-to-play games, and it's not something that I potentially mind. That's, yeah, it's nothing that is compensating me for the loss of 5 X2s. The 15% rewards, well, this one here, as I said, it's basically an X2.5 over 10 battles. The thing is, I've got to perform over 10 battles to make this worth it. So now I have to play 10 battles in order to get, or at least play 8 battles in order to get my X2 in a nation with one of these. This is just another booby prize. It's just not worth it. Now, there are 500% boosters available. That's effectively an X5 for 10 matches. That's awesome. Guess where they are? They're in these boxes, and most of the time they're only available, well, you can get them in all, 10% to 500. Booby prize, actually worth it, but you can get one of these. Well, let's go through this box here. This is the Tiger box. Premium account for 1 day. Booby prize, not worth 300 gold. 300 gold, that gives you the option of re-rolling to get another crack at one of these. This one here is the interesting one. If you get anything under 100% bonus, I consider it a waste of your 300. Actually, even 100% bonus is a waste of your 300 gold. A 500 bonus might be worth it, but the percentage chance of getting one of these, I'm willing to bet, is phenomenally low. Booby prize, 100,000 credits, that's 2 matches earnings. Booby prize, wages, Not even sure how they work at this time, but booby prize. And then there's the tank. The only things that are potentially worth it for your 300 gold that you may have a chance of getting is the tank or a 500% booster, and if these have anything higher than a 1% chance for you to unlock, I will be shocked. I'll be absolutely shocked. Now, you might have a better chance of getting these on the more expensive ones. In fact, I have heard of somebody getting the Tiger on his first roll. However, he bought a 3,000 gold pack. So, spend more money, and you have a higher percentage chance. But remember, that's half the cost of actually buying the premium in the first place, and you still have all these booby prizes you could potentially roll. And where the 300 gold box actually gives you, well, 299 actually gives you 300 gold back, so you can potentially just continue to re-roll. The 3,000 gold one only gives you 1,500 back, so if you spend your 3,000 gold, you don't get an opportunity to roll again. That's all you get. So, look, I've got to be blunt here. This entire shop, there is no value in it anywhere. There's just none. I mean, okay, get the Focke-Wulf D9 for 3,000 gold. It's a little bit less than half of the value of the aircraft in the first place, and I've got a bunch of booby prizes that I can pull out of it as well that are not worth it. 3,000 gold is not worth 500,000 credits. End of discussion. 3,000 gold is not worth a 500% booster. So, you've got on 3,000 gold boxes, you might have maybe a 5% chance of getting the premium vehicle slightly cheaper. However, you've got a 95% chance of just pulling nothing out. And there is nothing of value in this box at all. Even the 15 days isn't worth 3,000 gold. It could have been good. This could have been a very interesting system to have floating around, but the prices are fucking obscene. And the value on each of the items that are within this system are there's just no worth to them. There is absolutely no worth whatsoever to anything within this shop. So this patch, in terms of content, is one of the best that Gaijin have released in probably over a year. All the flight models feel finished, all the BRs seem to be about fine. It's looking rather good in terms of content. But it all comes down to those missing X2s in that shop, and basically we've been asked to give up something that we've always had for free, and now we have to pay for it. And what is on that shop at the prices that are being asked is not worth what we have given up this patch, and that has let down the patch significantly. So ladies and gents, we're just coming up to the end of this now. There were a couple of other things that have been asked, the things that weren't specifically related to patch 1.47 but have been released just prior to it. One of them was the mixed matchmaker. What are my opinions of that? Well, not so long ago I had a nation versus nation battle where I watched 2 British Tempests fight 2 German Tempests in a dogfight in the middle of the map. Honestly, the mixed matchmaking doesn't bother me because we've had mixed matchmaking for over a year. It's been in the form of premium captured aircraft, which I think it's pretty well known that I don't really like all that much. All the mixed matchmaker is Gaijin now being honest about it, and people are not having to pay for the privilege of flying one nation's planes in a battle with people from another nation. That said, I'm disappointed Gaijin didn't put an opt-out option in. There should have been a button sitting somewhere at the top that you can, near where you select your servers that you want to play on. Do you wish to go into mixed battles or not? If yes, you have reduced queue times, you get into battles faster, but you play mixed battles. If no, you have longer queue times, and you only face nation versus nation. And it should be a choice to the player, to whether or not they want to participate in these battles or not. As for the mixed battles themselves, as I said, we're sort of already doing it, so it really hasn't bothered me or affected me in the slightest. Honestly, I'm far more concerned, as somebody who's starting to go into the simulation battles now, with captured premium aircraft getting into simulation battles or being allowed in simulation battles. I'm sure we've all seen the photos of people dressing up their Japanese B-17s so that they cannot be identified as being Japanese, or putting Russian markings on the new captured German premium LA-5FN skin so it cannot be identified as a German aircraft in the speed of a simulation battle. That is far, far more concerning. But anyways, ladies and gents, that is patch 1.47 in a nutshell. A beautiful collection of content with an absolutely appalling monetization system applied over the top of it. And it's disappointing. this could have been an incredibly great patch, but it's just average at best because of that shop and because of the removal of those X2s. Anyways, ladies and gents, click like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more, fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.